Going back to court. Get ready with me. I told you guys when I told you that my divorce was final, some of the stuff that was going on. One of the provisions that we had in the order was that we had to do, well, it's actually not ordered, but in order for, excuse me, in order for my son, where's my comb? Can't find it. I want to fix my part. In order for my son to be able to come here to Virginia, we have to do reunification therapy. And that was something that was originally suggested by the custody evaluator. She said my home was safe, I was safe, Anthony was safe, everything was safe. None of the allegations were true. But she recommended that we do reunification family therapy with myself, Anthony, and Huxley, actually. And not because there was any issues, but because of, from what the conversation that she had with me verbally, basically she felt like some of the things that Huxley was being told damaged his view and his relationship with me. And so it was to basically repair that. So in our custody order, or our final divorce order, it says that my access takes place in Maryland until, and I can't remember the exact wording, a reunification therapist says that he can come to Virginia. And I told you guys this when I had initially told you guys that everything was settled, that the judge is not legally allowed to do that, to defer a decision to an outside party. And we had the choice to either file a 10-day like reconsideration, or we could file what's called an en banc review, and that you have like 30 days to file that. And that's basically a mini appeal where it goes before three separate judges. So the 10-day reconsideration, like telling him to fix this and to actually give a date like he's required to do, would go back to that same judge. And he could say, no, I'm not doing it. The en banc review, though, goes to three separate judges, where those judges say, hey, what he did is not lawful. It's like they have the Maryland law. They cite all of that. We don't actually have to give like testimony and stuff again. They basically use like transcripts and stuff like that to go over all the testimony that was presented. They review the custody evaluator's report that shows there's no issue with all of this. And then they basically send it back to the original judge and say, you, in order to comply with the law, you have to set a date. And so basically it's crazy because my attorneys literally just had to do this same thing with the exact same judge, exact same situation. And they were successful and they won. The three judges kicked it back and told the judge, you can't do this. You have to give an actual date. You cannot defer a decision to an outside party when it comes to custody, access, visitation, all of that. You can't do it. So they were successful and they won, like just recently. So they thought by gently reminding the judge of that he would remember and just not do it, but he didn't do that. So it's been a little bit difficult because I've tried over the last couple of weeks to see if we can come to an agreement on a reunification therapist. That's been difficult, but because I only have a certain amount of time to file my review, the basically appeal, I'm not going to waste it. So I'm going to do it. And if he decides to participate, and the thing is the reunification therapy is between myself and Huxley. So because we have joint legal custody, we both have to, any good therapist, any good treating therapist is going to make sure that they have the consent of both parents when they have joint legal custody. And if he refuses to give it, then Huxley can't start therapy. Which means if Huxley doesn't start therapy, then a therapist never says that he could come here. So he could basically delay it for 10 more years until Huxley's 18. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to let him do that. Which it really irritates me because like we could have settled this whole thing and not gone to trial at all. But one of the big things that we were fighting back and forth about before the trial started, like the judge is like, let me give you a little bit of time. The attorneys talked to the judge in chambers, and it was deciding on a reunification therapist. He didn't come with any suggestions, but he didn't like the suggestions that we made. Which was someone that we found. He went and researched the lady and didn't want the lady to be the reunification therapist because he researched her to the point of finding out that she's been divorced before. So therefore he doesn't think that she's qualified for reunification therapy. It's like, this is not therapy to try to recommend that you and I get back together, which was his whole thing with Huxley's therapist. Huxley's therapist got on the stand and basically testified that in order for Huxley to be able to feel better, his parents need to get back together in essence, okay, was basically the gist of her therapy, in addition to teaching him how to breathe 100,000 different ways. So it's like the point of this is for Huxley and I, not for mom and dad to get back together, because that is never going to happen. I would literally die before that happened. And so it's just like, dude, you're just so out of touch. So trying to get him to choose someone and all of that, it's just been difficult. The order also doesn't say like who's supposed to pay for it, all of that. It's expensive. It's not cheap. And so it's been difficult. And in my opinion, based on what I've seen from history, he's going to continue to be difficult. So I'm like, F it. I'm going back to court. Like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. I'll continue to, if he participates and decides to sign papers and do all this stuff so that I can move on for reunification therapy to start, that's wonderful. But I'm also going to go back to court because I want the court to say that this shouldn't have happened this way, and here's your date. So, you know, whether or not it's going to be able to be resolved before the baby gets here, it's unlikely. And that's just unfortunate, you know. In those text messages that we saw, he was complaining about how Huxley was a third wheel, but it's like, how am I supposed to make Huxley part of this group when I can't even have him in my house? I have to be in a hotel. So there's only so much I can do. I'm not having my daughter in Maryland. I'm not going to do that. I'm having my daughter here in Virginia where me and her father live. So for Huxley to be a part of that, Huxley's going to have to be able to come here. And if you want to continue to block that, then yeah, to you, it's going to look like Huxley's a third wheel, but you can't, like, which one is it? Do you want Huxley to be involved and be one of the kids? Or do you want to keep him separated? Because Huxley is a third wheel only because you've put Huxley in that position and not allowed it. Like, even when I had baby Anthony, I sent like multiple emails with all of these options. Like, I will pay for you to fly down here so that I can continue to see Huxley. I will do this. I will do that. Nothing. None of it. Like, it's just really, really annoying. But we were prepared for this. We were expecting it. So, you know, I ended up, I think before going back for all of this, I was like $153,000 in on legal fees. Probably looking at another $30,000. And, you know, once they file this, I still got to wait for a court date. So we don't know how long it's going to be, plus reunification therapy. But I'm going to do what I have to do. Like, it's whatever. Maybe Anthony's here. He's taking a rest. We have to go out and run errands, and it's his nap time. So he is having a little bit of screen time because he was getting a little bit emotional. I think I've done everything. Have I? Also not feeling great right now. I had chicken sausage for breakfast, and I feel like because my belly, it's like all my food sits in between my tits. Does anybody else pregnant ever feel that way? Like, your food just don't go down. I don't know if it's because my belly is so big or because my tits are so big, but I feel like my tits block my food from being able to, like, go down. But, yeah. So, anyway, do me a favor, though, in the comments. You're probably going to comment before you even see this part. Don't ask me stupid questions, okay? I've shared the information with you that I'm comfortable with sharing. If I haven't shared something, it's because it's none of your damn business. And I'm not going to share it. Did I do this yet? I think I want to go darker. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on. We are going back to court. So if you want to do something to help support me, continue to watch my videos. Like them, comment, and you will help, you will contribute, and you will help support this cause. But we're going to get it done. He can't do this forever. And the judge is going to be, I hope, if it goes anything like their last case where they were forced to follow the law, the judge will be forced to actually give a date. So the judge can still say reunification therapy, that's fine, but the judge has to say starting May 1st, Huxley gets to go to Virginia. He can't just do this like deferment to someone else. So right now though, it's so vague. There's so many things that are so vague, and it's like, why did we sit in court? Why did we go to trial? A 3-day trial cost me $10,000 a day. Like, why did we do that? Why did we do that? Like, clearly, you know that we cannot communicate. Like, it says in my order, like, I try to do stuff and he always blocks it. Like, in so many words. Why would you put us in a situation? Like, why didn't you just say, because we submitted the lady's name to be the reunification therapist. We also submitted like just a national agency that's like, does parenting classes, co-parenting classes, and does reunification therapy. Like, the court uses them. The court ordered us to do our parenting classes with them. Why didn't you just say them? Like, you could have just said someone, but you didn't. So, we're going back to court. Look at baby Anthony.